So they have this maze here at this park called Parque de Invierno, Winter Park. I'm a little claustrophobic, as you all know. Should I go in? I know the kids want to go in. Do I dare? Should I? Could I? I think I'm going to do it. What I say in my videos in the past about fear and not letting it stop you from doing things that could be fun or helpful in your life. It's a little muddy. Alright, I'm going in. Noah decided to abandon me and I'm following Willow. This maze is not huge, but the sun's really bright. Could barely see. It's pretty cool though. I haven't been in a maze since I was a little kid. There was a really cool one back in Ohio with corn. That didn't go in. I was chicken, but here I am. Oh, I see Noah. We found the exit. So Rick and Noah want to climb this. Let's see. Jump down if you fall. Alright, Noah. Just jump down if you're gonna fall. This is a cool park because they have a bunch of exercise equipment. Give Noah one more chance. You could do it. One more. There you go. Don't go too high.
Just remember, you have to come back down.
Yeah, and you gotta jump down if you don't break anything. Okay, I think that's enough. Because if you fall, it wouldn't be good.
We'll give you a passed grade. Good job.
That's enough. Yeah, we don't want them falling. Not on a trip like this where we have to... Whoa! That's scary. Good job. So I wanted to talk about the things we've learned in the last 6 months traveling, and I was watching Casey Neistat, and it was funny how he was talking about, I don't know the name of it, but he was saying how when you plan on going somewhere, if it's getting to the airport, getting to your job or a meeting or wherever, it always takes twice as long to get somewhere. If it takes 10 minutes, in your head you're thinking 10 minutes, it's really 20 minutes, and so on. And he's so right about that, and it made me think about this video I'm making today about the things I've learned. Besides everything taking twice as long, which he's absolutely right on, everything costs about twice as much as you think it will cost. For example, our flights were canceled from Madrid back to where our next destination is, and then I had to reschedule everything and just change everything around. So it wasn't just extra for that, but there's other things. You realize you need to buy another coat or a different type of coat or shoes or I don't know, something, train tickets. You always spend more. And even moving, when you're moving out of state or just moving to another apartment, sometimes things will cost twice as much. At least plan on things costing twice as much. So you could have your budget all planned, just double it for safety purposes. Seriously, no matter what you do in life, it's going to cost twice as much and take twice as long. Even with a business startup, you think it's going to take you a year. It might take 2, 3, 4 years, maybe more than twice. And it's going to cost you at least twice as much to get it off the ground. So things to think about when you're making your budget. The other thing when traveling overseas, I noticed, and I'm not sure about London or Ireland, but I definitely see it in Spain. I was looking for some Tylenol and Excedrin. I just assumed they would be here, but no. The name brands that I'm used to in the United States are not here. They have something similar, but not the same. I'm not saying it's worse or better, it's just different, so you have to get used to having different things. So if you need a particular type of medication with you, bring it with you as much as you think that you're going to need, and then times by 2 because there's always somebody else who's going to want your Tylenol or your Excedrin, and then you're left without it. Something to think about. And the big thing also that I've learned is you need half of what you bring with you besides the medications. Like clothing, half. Bring half of what you packed and then half it again. You just don't need stuff. And that's where you might have to end up buying stuff later, but you do not want to be dragging stuff around the world, the country, wherever you plan on going. It's just not worth it. It's worth having that little extra cash, and if you need something, just get it later. That's definitely for me. I guess everybody's different, but that's what I've learned from myself and my family. I find it easier just to have less, have extra cash, and buy what you need as you go. Don't drag the stuff that you bought while traveling back to the US if you know that you're not going to use it. Give it to somebody, give it to a friend, give it to somebody who needs it. There's people who could use what you don't. So give it away. The other thing I used to complain about back in Florida, anywhere, even in Ohio when I lived there, was about the internet. I'd complain about how slow the internet was, and we had the best, fastest internet, and I complained. I shouldn't have complained because it's much slower in some areas. Even in London and of course Ireland and even here in Spain. I mean, we're able to get those videos uploaded, but it takes like 24 hours versus maybe an hour or two. So it takes a lot longer, much longer to get videos uploaded to YouTube or to do homework. Like Willa does her college online, Noah works and studies online. So everything takes a lot longer. The other thing maybe I expected it, but not as much as I'm experiencing, is lack of sleep. Travel is much, much more exhausting than I remember it to be. Of course, it's been a long time since I've traveled like this. So I realized I'm not able to keep up this pace and that I need to figure out a way to travel, but even at a slower speed. And the thing is too, when you're sleeping in an Airbnb or a hotel or just anywhere other than your own bed, you're just not used to it. You're just tired. Your bed doesn't feel like yours, so you're not sleeping like you normally would. Between just the physical walking and moving around in travel, the not sleeping adds to that. So that's something I knew would happen, but it's a lot more difficult than I anticipated. The other thing too that I did consider slightly, but not a whole lot, until I nearly fell on my face a couple of times. I'm not used to the cobblestones, and you sometimes you're looking around at the musicians or the artists, and you don't look at the little step that's right in front of you. And I nearly face planted a couple of times, and I was thinking, oh my God, if I had twisted an ankle or something, it would have destroyed everything, because I walk everywhere around here, and using a wheelchair, it's not an option in a lot of places where there's a bunch of steps and cobblestones and stairs like this and slopes. So it's something, after I nearly fell a few times, that I was extra careful, because you can't really afford to be twisting an ankle while traveling, because trying to be on crutches and getting around and trying to get back on a train or a plane or whatever, that would be very difficult. I know there's people who are disabled who travel, but they have their own videos to explain how they get around. But for short-term injury, I wouldn't even know what I would do. Well, I figure it out, I'm sure, but it's something to think about. And the other thing too is, if you get sick, you want to make sure that you know where that urgent care or hospital or doctor's office is, and their phone number and their emergency phone number in case you need it. Yeah, so when traveling, I just tell everybody, just be super careful. Like that rock climbing you just saw, I got a little nervous. I was thinking, oh my gosh, if they twist their ankle, who's going to carry them around? Because to get here, we had to climb up a bunch of stairs and hills and inclines and mud and everything else. And the last thing, well, I've learned a lot more, but the last thing I'm going to say for today is, every time I go to a new place, I think it's absolutely the most beautiful place I've ever seen, and I could live there, and I could see myself settling down, and I'm absolutely loving it. And then we go to our next destination, and I'm like, oh my God, I love this as much or even more than the last place. I could live here. And then I move on to the next place, and the same thing, and it's over and over, and now I'm like, oh my God, I love every place I go to. It all has its pros and cons. It all has its beauty. It all has its own charm. So after traveling and seeing all these beautiful places, it's very difficult to say I could be in one place and live forever in any one place because I love it all. So I guess I'll have to be traveling for some time now. And I hope you'll come along and keep traveling with us. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please share. Don't forget to subscribe. And most importantly, don't forget to live a passionate life.